much anticipated debut of the big baguette, Victor Wembanyama. His NBA debut, Spurs taking on their in-state rival Mavericks, and immediately he would make his presence felt on the defensive end.
Well, look, the guy led the league in preseason in blocks per game. On a 30-minute basis, he would have been averaging 4.8 blocks per game. 8-foot wingspan, Green.
Yeah, he had 6 points, 3 rebounds in the first half. Most of his damage from outside the arc.
That's why he's a generational talent. Now, look, he's going to get bullied a little bit in the third quarter, and he gets into foul trouble, but his ability to play through is what sets him apart.
Well, the foul trouble is the issue here. That's his third. You're going to see his fourth. He played just 24 minutes because of foul trouble.
But look, you come back in the fourth quarter, you score 9 points. That's the maturity you want from a teenager in this game.
Yeah, again, it's a lot of fouls. There's another one on Wembanyama. So as I mentioned, 5 fouls for him. But 6 minutes to go. As Jay mentioned, he brings his team back, again knocking down threes.
It's the ability. If you play him with a hand down, he has the ability to shoot over the top. The guy can touch the rim standing up.
He was 3 for 5 from three-point range. Then he's just too big for Trey Jones, or off the feed from Trey Jones there. No free throw, no good. Spurs up by 1. Then Wembanyama in the mid-range. We got ourselves a good game here, Jay. Well, tied at 1:15. But in the closing minutes, it was Luka Doncic finding his teammates and knocking them down himself as well.
I know Luka and Kyrie didn't have a great season together last year when they played, but they are a dark horse in the Western Conference. 2 of the most prolific scoring guards we have in the game of basketball.
Doncic had 33 and a triple-double. Kyrie, 22. Mavs get the win. Wembanyama finishes with 15 points, 5 boards, 6 of 9 from the floor. 3 of those were threes. But again, the slow start thanks to foul trouble, playing just 15 minutes in those first 3 quarters. Overall, the 15 points are the same amount that Tim Duncan had in his Spurs debut 26 years ago, and he was the last true rookie to make an all-star team. So what did you see from Wembanyama last night?
I think he's a generational talent on the defensive end. You talk about an 8-foot wingspan. He can deter shots as soon as. Have you ever seen a guy 7'4" with an 8-foot wingspan just stand in the middle of the lane, Greeny?
Yeah.
We call that blocking out the damn sun. That's what he can do, okay? You combine that with his dexterity, with his agility, he has a chance to be one of the greatest players the NBA has ever seen if he can stay healthy.
And with that thought in mind, Greg Popovich, we know he has always been conservative. How would you expect Pop to handle his transition into the NBA?
Well, look, he played 24 minutes last night due to foul trouble. I think he will play a lot more minutes in this game. One of the things that everybody will talk about, oh, he didn't score 30, what's wrong with him? He played through foul trouble. I think showing that maturity in the fourth quarter, playing with 5 fouls, scoring 9 points, they ran so many sets for him offensively. His ability to see the floor is what makes him unique and special, Greeny. This Spurs team is going to be, they're going to compete in the West. Very different Spurs team than the one that won 21 games last year.
Yeah, and he's, of course, the primary reason why. And whether they win or lose, he's always going to be someone you want to see play. But all the football guys that I've had on here all comment on how narrow the frame is. How much of an issue is that going to be? Is he going to get pushed around in the NBA?
Well, he will. I think you saw Grant Williams try to do that last night, get up underneath him, push him off his spots, make him uncomfortable with that physicality. But the problem with him, though, is regardless if he get physical, he can shoot over the top.
Yeah.
So you can't put a bigger guy on him because they don't have the dexterity or the footwork to stay with him. You put a smaller guy on him, he can still take you to the block. I don't think the physicality of the game is going to be a question or issue for him. I think it's just his comfort level with the game. First game last night of his NBA career.
He's skilled on a level based upon his size that the league has literally never seen before. Very quickly, you mentioned Luka and Kyrie playing together. Last year, it did not go well. Last night, so far, so good. You said the Mavericks, you think, are a sneaky, interesting pick in the Western Conference?
I think they're a pick to make the playoffs. I mean, I think they'll be a lot better than what they were. I still have one of the most prolific offenses in the game of basketball when both those guys were on the court. Their issue is rebounding. I mean, teams averaged 11 offensive rebounds against them last year, and they got dominated on the board. So it's the ancillary pieces that are the question for the Dallas Mavericks. No questions around Luka and Kyrie.
A very entertaining doubleheader we had on ESPN last night. This was the late game. We'll get to the early game. Back on Get Up, bottom of the hour. The game of the night was at Madison Square Garden last night, Jay Williams. Greeny was in the house to watch the Celtics and the Knicks, and it was the debut on a Boston uniform of Kristaps Porzingis.
The offense just opens up when he's on the floor. This is a guy that's gained 20 pounds, and the whole thing about him being injured no longer thinking. He didn't get injured last year. Opens up the whole floor for Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown to go to work.
Tatum taking advantage, 19 points and 6 boards for him in the first half, a 5-point Celtic first half lead. Knicks couldn't throw the ball in the ocean last night, in particular from the free throw line, but they knocked down just enough threes to take a late lead.
R.J. Barrett made a 3, Josh Hart made a 3, Julius Randle came alive as of late. A lot of flopping going on in the game as well.
That was Quentin Grimes knocking one down. He would miss the free throw. Knicks missed 12 foul shots. Aaron Judge loved it, but then it would all go the other way. Boston made all the plays late.
Well, if you're gonna double team on the wing, you got to rotate defensively. Knicks did a poor job down the stretch, and then Celtics pulled away. Look, stretching the floor, Greeny.
That Porzingis
stretching the floor.
He had 30 points, 8 rebounds, and 4 blocks against the franchise that drafted him. The 30 points, the most in a Celtic debut in franchise history. Final seconds here, final chance for the Knicks, down by 4. They need something great to happen, and it would not. So Boston behind 34 from Tatum plus 11 rebounds, holds on to win it 108-104 in what was a very entertaining opening game there. And
did it feel weird to see Porzingis in another uniform explode in the Garden? Where
I think that is so far, there's a lot of water under the bridge on that. Here's what I did find myself thinking, that there's been so much talk about the Bucks, and I get it. You're going to put Dame Lillard and Giannis Antetokounmpo together, they're going to be good. I believe the Celtics are the best team in the East. That's my belief. I love Drew Holiday. I think that's an upgrade. And if you get something like this from Porzingis, that only solidifies my belief that I would take the Celtics right now over Milwaukee.
I'm not jumping to conclusions. They were playing against the Knicks. With all due respect to the Knicks, I think the Knicks could be maybe in that 4 seed.
Yeah, they're a good team. They're not a bad team.
Decent. I actually think that the 8th best team in the Western Conference could be in the 4 seed in the Eastern Conference, if I'm just being honest with you. I think there's a sizable gap between the Bucks and the Celtics.
With who on top?
With the Bucks on top.
Really?
I think Porzingis opens up the floor offensively. I think we're remiss if we don't talk about the loss of Robert Williams and how he protected the rim. The loss of Grant Williams, the only guy that actually matched the energy and the effort and the drive of Jimmy Butler last year, and also Marcus Smart. I know you have Drew Holiday, but there's still a part of me, Greeny, that is waiting for Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown to come out of their shells and to not only be the best offensive and defensive players, but be the same caliber of leaders for this team. Now, I know Drew Holiday can do that. But there's something about when you watch Giannis or you watch Dame, they're going to run through the wall for you. You know what's going to come. And also, they're going to demand greatness from their other players. I need to see Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown demand that from their other players. That's the missing link for me around the Celtics.
All right, so I got the Celtics, you got the Bucks. I love that hoodie. We'll make a little wager on who winds up with the better. Well, you tell me who made that thing for you, and we will make a little wager. All right, meantime, let's shoot the J.
Shoot it!
Zion, first game of the season with the Pelicans. What did you see?
I saw a guy that looked like a special player. And I'll tell you this, when Zion got hurt last year, the Pelicans were 3rd in the West.
Yeah.
3rd in the West. He's only played 37% of his games since he was drafted in 2019. If he could stay healthy, they will contend in the Western Conference.
I completely
It's always
agree.
if. That's Zion. That's if.
That means he's going to have to show he can be on the floor. James Harden won't be on the floor to begin with, but he is back at practice. What do we think?
I have no idea. I have no idea what
I got nothing.
I question James' ability to compartmentalize his relationship with Daryl Morey and play the game of basketball at a high level. I think inevitably it's going to break. It can't work. I don't see it working for James Harden. As much as he loves Joel Embiid and his teammates, I don't see it working. Tyrese Maxey needs to be the guy for them, not James Harden.
It's a complete mess. And then let's go to the Lakers the other night. Anthony Davis, 0 points in the second half of the opener. Was that just a bad game, or was that a bad sign?
It's who AD is, Rainey.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to have everybody that's going to yell from the rooftops about AD, and not all contracts are worth the same, okay? He's a special player. I still think the Lakers are 1 player away. They're an elite guard away, frankly, scoring guard, from being a championship team. But still, this roster has gotten better over time.
Oh, I get it. But it's about Anthony Davis. And listen, when we talk about people screaming from the rooftops, I want you to hear both Charles Barkley and Stephen A. Smith on that offer yesterday.
He's a very talented player, but I don't think he has that mental mindset where he want to go out there and dominate every night. He's just way too inconsistent. And I don't think your number one guy can have those types of peaks and valleys.
Second half, 18 minutes. 0 points. 0! 0! I mean, Anthony Davis, that's trash. 0? Really? Anthony Davis is a superstar when his A game shows up. But you can't trust his A game to show up consistently, which means you cannot trust that the Los Angeles Lakers are going to get to the finals.
Talk to me.
You know what great players do, Greeny? I've seen Michael Jordan do this, Kobe Bryant, Dame has done this. I used to do this in college. I would be 0 of 13 coming into the last 2 minutes of the game. We'll come into the huddle. I'm like, give me the ball, I'm hot. People are like, what the hell are you talking about? You're 0 of 13. I'm like, no, I'm hot. I got myself out of it. You just saw a picture of Anthony Davis sitting on the bench. He keeps himself in it mentally, in that rut. He still can't find his jump shot. He's lost his jump shot. This is a major issue with him. He should be getting at least 8 to 10 points a game from the mid-range Jays, and he can't find that, so he's trying to drive. So that's the question you have around AD being that player for them consistently, because mentally you feel as if he is fragile when he thinks through his game. You don't think LeBron James is mentally fragile?
Oh my God, no.
No way. He'll burrow through. Even if he misses 7 in a row, he's going to take the 8th shot as if he made 7. That's where AD needs to get.
Well, so again, so the whole passing of the torch, taking of the torch, whatever you want to say, clearly isn't happening. You just told me about the pecking order in the East. How about in the West? Where are the Lakers? Where do they stack up among the best teams in the West?
I think they're 5 or 6. And their roster has gotten better since the trade deadline, since the offseason. Gabe Vincent, it was one game going against Nikola Jokic, who just is physically demanding too much for AD. But I still think AD is a special player, and I still think the Lakers have a legit shot with their roster.
Yeah, well, look, 5 or 6 is good, but it's not great. LeBron James not there to be 5 or 6. All right, Jay, we'll stay close.